Is it true that the rich keep getting richer?
The gap between the rich and the poor has been growing at an accelerated pace.
Is that because of our tax policy?
Tax policy is only a secondary effect.
What do you mean?
Taxes are something you pay only after you have income.
So where do rich people get their income?
Many wealthy people make their income off of their investments.
Hasn't the wealth disparity grown substantially during the recession?
Yes.
How could the investments of wealthy people be doing so well in a recession caused by a financial crisis?
Excellent question. The rich made a lot of money on their investments when the going was good, but didn't lose that much when things went bad.
So the rich get richer on the way up, but they don't get poorer on the way down.
Yes. And here is the poster boy of that disease.
That's Warren Buffett, the second richest man in America.
But also its biggest welfare recipient.
How?
Going into 2008, Buffett was one of the biggest investors in financial companies. He made lots of money off the financial boom.
Did he still have those investments when the boom turned into a bust?
Yes, and Buffett was about to lose a fortune.
So what did he do?
He made an even bigger bet on banks that were about to go under, then went on television.
If I didn't think the government was going to act, I would not be doing anything this week. I might be trying to undo things this week. I am to some extent betting on the fact that the government will do the rational thing and act promptly. It would be a mistake to be buying anything now if the government were going to walk away from the Paulson proposal.
So he said he expected a bailout, and if he didn't get one, he might be selling his bank stocks?
Yes.
But he is the world's most respected investor.
He is.
And many copycat his investment decisions.
They do.
If he started selling, it would have been a disaster.
Yes.
So he basically blackmailed the government into bailing him out.
Exactly. And they did. Some of the bailouts were targeted specifically for banks that Buffett had big bets on, and the government made sure Buffett got a better deal than taxpayers.
Then what happened?
Bank stocks rebounded, and Buffett made a fortune off the bailouts.
What did taxpayers make?
Bupkis.
And millions of people still lost their house.
Yes.
And millions more lost their job.
That's how the wealth disparity increases after a financial crisis.
Where is he going?
To write an editorial on how his income taxes should be higher.
How much more would he be paying if his taxes were higher?
A few million more each year.
But how much did he profit from the bailouts?
Billions.
No wonder he'd rather talk about tax rates.
It's a good distraction from the money he made off the bailouts. But he's not the only one. Bank executives and shareholders profited too, as did other wealthy people.
That would explain why the poor are suffering more than the rich. But at least the bailouts are over.
No, they are now bigger than ever, thanks to this guy.
That's the Bernanke.
Also the anti-Robin Hood.
Why?
He takes from the poor to give to the rich.
How?
With ever more quantitative easing.
Dude, why are you still doing the same failed policies?
We think that these policies can bring interest rates down, not just Treasury rates, but a whole range of rates, including mortgage rates and rates for corporate bonds.
But if you are poor, unemployed, or already lost your house, lower mortgage rates are useless.
Only the wealthy can easily take advantage of low rates.
And who benefits from lower corporate bond rates?
Big companies. Small businesses have a hard time getting a loan.
If low rates can't help those suffering the most, why do you keep printing money?
It also affects stock prices.
This guy seems obsessed with making the stock market go up.
He is.
But who owns stocks in America?
The richest 1% owns a third of all stocks. The richest 10% owns 2/3.
So what the Bernanke is really doing is helping out people like Warren Buffett.
Yes, but don't expect Buffett to write an editorial on that subject either.
What's the Bernanke's justification for making stocks go up?
He thinks higher stocks create jobs.
That makes no sense. Companies don't hire people because their stock has gone up. Dude, how are higher stocks supposed to create jobs?
If people feel that their financial situation is better because their 401k looks better, if house is worth more, they're more willing to go out and spend.
But spending more because your stocks are doing better was proven disastrous by the internet stock market bubble.
Yes.
And spending more because your house is worth more was proven disastrous by the housing bubble.
Of course.
You'd have to be an idiot to repeat those mistakes.
An idiot, or an economist.
What's all this money printing doing to commodity prices?
Gas prices are the highest they have ever been for this time of year, despite weak demand.
Dude, What about this spike in gas prices?
The committee expects that effect to be only temporary.
That's what he said in the spring.
It's also what he said last year.
How could something be temporary if it keeps happening? Seriously, you can't just keep saying these problems are temporary.
The committee expects that effect to be only temporary.
What the hell?
Temporary. 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 Temporary.
He's freaking out.
He thinks if he keeps repeating the same wrong, it will eventually be right.
That explains his policy decisions.
Meanwhile, the poor that live paycheck to paycheck are disproportionately hurt by high gas and food prices.
And the rich that own all the stocks and get all the loans are getting richer for doing nothing.
That's how the Federal Reserve increases the gap between the rich and the poor.
Temporary. 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 Temporary.
Thanks for watching, everyone. For a better understanding of how the Fed drives gas prices, check out this cartoon. You can learn more about inflation in this cartoon and quantitative easing in this other one. Check out this website for more. Bye-bye.